On your feet! Get them going!
Hello. Hello. Why is this not full screen? There we go. Hello. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be. I'm your host, Mike Miller. This is Cross Examinations. I'm not a pastor, priest, rabbi, theologian, or scholar, or didn't even graduate college. I know, right? Just like Charlie Kirk. Not to say that I'm just like Charlie. Anyways, welcome to Cross Examinations. Today, Kimmel canceled for Kirk. I know this has become very topical. Well, I mean, it's obviously, for obvious reasons, it's been topical for the past week. But it has been a week and a day now. And apologies for not being here yesterday. My nephew's birthday was yesterday, and I haven't been able to celebrate my nephew's birthday with him since he was like what? 8? 7? Something like that. For various weird family issue reasons. His mother's kind of a crazy person, but you know, he loves her, so and so I wasn't gonna miss it. And sorry guys, that meant no cross examinations because family comes first. We aspire to be like who we admire. Hello Tina, hello Amy, hello without lies. Islam dies. What does D&Q stand for? Drawn and quartered. That is my drawing show on my other channel. I didn't say welcome to D&Q, did I? Somebody. Oh, okay. All right. Tina, Amy, Corpse Grinders here. What's up, buddy? My favorite atheist here on the channel. Without lies, I had an appointment yesterday. Didn't realize there was no stream yesterday until after I got home. Oh, here we go. Amy Lester. We did D&Q, our drawing show last night. Yeah, you want to... Where did I put... Oh, I put them all in the other box. I'm doing a very... what's the word? When you're... I don't know, the word is right in front of my face and I can't think of it. Ambitious. See, that's why I don't like debating. Because I'll sit there and go like, what's that word? That word? What's that one word? Family is important. Happy birthday, Mike's nephew. What a pussy. Yeah, he's I met this little guy right when I got together with my wife. Well, the second time, because we got together in high school at high school camp, California State Summer School for the Arts, which we just realized yesterday. That was like the third year CSSSA did their school, their summer school, and we met there. And I'm pretty sure we were the first couple to meet at CSSSA and get married. But anyways, that's another story. So when I moved down to San Diego and I got together with now my wife, that was 1993, and Justin was born like, gosh, thinking that was that month, that year. Oh wow, he was born pretty much the month we got together. So, and then later she moved to... you don't need this whole story. What's up, Walk with the Spirit? Let's see. So what do you guys think? Kimmel got canned for Kirk. Because he was spreading that hogwash. And also, I read a thing that said that ABC could lose their license for what Kimmel said. Could lose their broadcasting license for what Kimmel said, claiming that the killer was part of MAGA. So I don't know how true that is, but that was very interesting to me, because At first, I think it was just, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong on all this. I'm not going to be right about everything. Sorry, I'm not perfect. Charlie Kirk wasn't perfect either. I want to point out. Someone was. I'm going to go all over the place with this. Finish my point. Kimmel said something blaming MAGA for killing Charlie Kirk. And someone said legally ABC could lose their broadcasting license for that. Prior to that conclusion, I think it was just individual stations, like 26 or something stations around the country were like, we're not going to air Jimmy Kimmel anymore. You can kiss our ass. Excuse my French. But then ultimately ABC's like, okay, goodbye. Kicked him to the curb. Unemployment line with you, Jimmy Kimmel. And then now they're going to be airing a Charlie Kirk memorial on Jimmy Kimmel's, I think was it Friday? On Jimmy Kimmel's time slot. Good on ya. Nah, any links? Nah, any links? Links to what? Do I need links? What do I need links for, Spirit? Caleb says there were sources saying within hours of Kimmel's official cancellation saying just that the FCC was threatening to strip their license. Based. I'll send you one on Discord. Wait, what links for? Oh, Discord. Right. Yeah, I know. I should put the Discord link in the. Is it not in the video? I guess it's not. You know why I keep having trouble with these Discord links, like not working anymore. So I guess I forget to put them in the old description. But anyhow, what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about this? I know for years, the right has been having to deal with cancel culture, and we've kind of taken a firm stance on cancel culture bad, right? I'd like to hear your opinions. I have an opinion on it, because I think there's a vast difference between what's happening now and what was happening then. But I'd like to hear your guys' take. Is this what you'd call cancel culture, or is this like just people crossing a line? There are a few cultures that need to be canceled. I don't want to be petty, but I am somewhat satisfied seeing the tables starting to turn. How many times have we had to listen to the crazy, dividing, hateful comments made by the left? Fair. I don't think you should cancel someone just for saying hateful, divisive comments. That's free speech to me. That's trying to get somebody fired for not agreeing with your politics. I don't think that's kosher. But that's not what this is. What the heck? How? I can't see Matt. I saw Matt in the little comment section down here, but not on the side. Cossin, try typing something again. DJ Peterson says, if he broke the rules, then that's different than cancel culture. Otherwise, just fire him when the ratings are so bad he's not making money. Right. I'm not just talking about that. Oh, what the heck? I'm not seeing the X comments. Matt, jump over to YouTube. Letting the left go on spewing lies for as long as they have led to Charlie's murder, in my opinion. Right. Well, that's another thing. Lies are defamatory, and when you go out there and you libel somebody, or you what's the other version? There's libel and that's not libel. Oh wait, that's not. Anyways, you libel somebody, that's also illegal. So I'm not talking about things that are illegal. Slander. Thank you, DJ. I'm not talking libel and slander. Thank you, Corpse. I'm not talking about libel and slander. I'm talking about, because again, that's why I'm asking your opinion, because there is a line that can be crossed for which I think it's perfectly reasonable to be like, hello, this isn't legal. This shouldn't be allowed. But in particular, and yeah, I mean, somebody could be held to libel and slander and be held legally responsible and all that stuff. But here's the thing, that requires a lot of time and money to deal with, and I don't think, honestly, that's going to happen most of the time. However, what we're dealing with, there's a difference between cancel and consequences. Right. And that's what they always said to us, though. We're not canceling you. We're just letting you deal with the consequences of having wrong think. Where is the YouTube video? Go to YouTube and go to cross-examinations. See? Cross-examinations. And search cross-examinations Mike S. Miller. Are you not subscribed to me on YouTube, Matt? Brother. Proverbs 19:1 says, a false witness will not go unpunished, nor a liar will a liar escape. Nice. I mean, his show has been floundering for a while, I think. Yeah, it was propped up just by, whatever. And protect themselves from slander claims in the process. Yeah, like I said, libel and slander, it's you might be right to point out what these guys are doing when they're lying and they're slandering and they're libeling. I mean, look what Ethan did to me for years. Libel, slander, all the time. I don't have the time, the money, or the inclination to sue that jackass. I'm just think about what happened to Alex Jones or Roseanne Barr. Yes. Right. Alex, unfortunately, in a court of law, was found guilty for what? I forget exactly what they called that. You know what I mean? What did Correspondent say? Like when that Fox guy called for killing the homeless and there was a mass shooting of a homeless camp, that kind of speech should be canceled. Who the hell called for the killing of the homeless? What? Yeah, nobody's going to freaking agree with that. That's insane. Who? What? I didn't even hear about that. I don't remember it. Proverbs 19:11 says, sensible people control their temper. They earn respect by overlooking wrongs. Yeah, and I'm not litigious. Honestly, I could have, what Preston Poulter did to Ethan, if I had the inclination, I could have had him yanked off of YouTube permanently, but I've never been litigious. Never, because my dad wasn't, and so I guess kind of stuck with that. Well, there's a difference between saying I support higher taxes for welfare programs and saying I support political violence up to and including murder. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe you guys can send me a link. Hassan Piker and Destiny are two guys who have actively called for mass political violence, and I heard Destiny saying he might do it himself. Right. I heard Destiny saying that conservatives should be basically live in fear of being shot for saying what they believe. This is the freaking mentality that is like, what the hell are you guys talking about? A true comedian defense would be, it was a joke. saw this on Metatron's channel. Alex Jones did nothing wrong. That's BS. I know. I'm trying to remember what they said. What I know it was about the whole school shooting thing. Which, by the way, I've seen the film of that dad, the dad, and yes, I'm going to go conspiracy theory on this because no father who just lost their child is going to be sitting there joking and laughing around with people, and then as soon as he knows he's going to be on mic, he turns and he did this thing. I used to go to acting class with my daughter all the time for years, right? And they do this thing when it's like time to assume the role. And bro, dude, that guy, that father of that kid who was killed, that's why I think these things happen. He was joking, cracking jokes, laughing it up with the people next to him. It's like, okay, it's time to go on camera. He did the thing that the actors do, and then he got, it's so hard to blah, blah. I'm like, okay. What is that? What? What is that? Jiminy. Oh, man. Alex Jones was found liable for defamation in several civil lawsuits filed by the families of the victims. See, that doesn't make sense. How could he defame the families? Unless he's talking about that father, because I'll defame him right now. That looked like acting to me. That looked straight up, and I'm seriously. I took my daughter to acting class, adult, not a child's acting class, to adult acting class from the time she was 9 until she was like 16, 17, something like that. Like every week. I know what it looks like when actors are setting their emotions for a role, and that's what that dude did. Letting the left freely spew lies and threats for years is what led to Charlie Kirk's murder. Right. So that's the line, isn't it? Libel, slander, and threats. What the left did to the right for years when they canceled us was beep boop bop. Oh my gosh, she put beep boop bop in her bio. Oh my gosh, she said a historically accurate account of Nazi Germany and didn't want to see that here in America. He doesn't believe in the vaccine. He does what the left would cancel people on the right, or attempt to cancel, or just straight up cancel people for the most just normal opinions possible. Oh, men can't have babies? Cancel him! Right? It's like, no, we're just speaking truth. We're not defaming anybody. We're not libeling anybody. We're not lying. We're not threatening. But that's what they think. He said men can't have babies. I feel threatened. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me right now? But in this case, I don't think it's cancel culture to hold people responsible for actual defamation, libel, slander, and most importantly, threats or incitement to violence. Hello, inciting people to violence. Not only should you be canceled, you should be arrested. That is not free speech, ladies and gentlemen. That is illegal. That is not covered by your First Amendment rights. If you're inciting someone to kill another person or another group of people, you should go to jail. I don't know how long you should go to jail for. Long enough to learn the lesson that this is not how. Actually, you know what you should go to? Bring back re-education camps. We got to deprogram these guys because also we got to freaking do something about these colleges. These colleges are indoctrinating people to, like I said the other day, the younger generation, 42%, which is probably about the percentage of kids who go to college, agree that you can respond to political disagreement with political violence. 42%. I think that's the college crowd. The college crowd and the college crowd's little friends. That's what it is. These colleges are indoctrinating people into being little demonic psychopaths. And that's wrong. And the colleges need to be held responsible in some way. What do you think? I think. Yeah, I've seen clips of Piker and Destiny calling for violence. That's not protected. It is not protected. Throw them in jail. Don't just kick them off of Twitch. Throw them in jail. Give them good jail time where Destiny can go have his little gay orgies in jail. Connecticut, 2022, a jury ordered Jones to pay $1 billion to the families of 8 victims and an FBI agent who responded to the theme. So stupid. I'm not going to read that whole thing. That sounds invoking a role. Yeah. Robbie Parker was the quote-unquote father. Yeah, if you've seen that video, and you believe wholeheartedly that the entirety of Sandy, I'm not saying nothing happened to Sandy Hook, but if you believe entirely, if you just believe that father, I don't know what to tell you. I can't look at that video and be like, there's a guy who just lost. I lost my nephew. You couldn't freaking get me. This was right after it happened. You couldn't get me to sit there and joke around with anybody after I lost my nephew. I would have been a freaking mess. And I didn't even cry at my daughter's wedding, okay? I'm not a blubberer. But when my nephew died, I mean, I was inconsolable. It was impossible. This guy's a father. Okay, here's the possible scenario. Robbie Parker is a sociopath, and he didn't have any actual emotional connection to his son. And so he just was joking around. Ba, 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 ha, 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 ha. Oh, it's time to go on camera? Well, as a sociopath, I understand that I should look like I'm sad when it's time to talk about my dead son. And then he puts on the mask. That's a possibility. And that's I'm not going to say it's the only, but it's probably the only possibility that would excuse his behavior after having just had his son murdered. I can't think of another. But if you can think of another, you let me know. But I think it is the normal response of a human being to look at the behavior of that father and say, oh, something stinks to high heaven here. That is the normal response to that video. Okay, I don't need all the information, Tina. I'm not going to read all that. I don't care. Probably talking about the parents. Yeah, Alex Jones never spoke out saying Sandy Hook was fake, which is why I was upset with him because it obviously was entirely. They canceled her for saying World War II Germany was bad. Yeah, right. Jay says 2 men can have a baby, Mike. Don't you know? I'm pretty sure. See, I'm a big fan of believe the science. Somehow or another, the left abandoned believe the science so that they could say that women can have penises and men can have babies. So, Walking the Spirit says, the pain of having to admit I can't have a baby as a man is unbearable. They have a new term, stochastic terrorism. Explain that to me. What is stochastic terrorism? Every time I hear that argument, I think of Life of Brian. I want to be a woman. I want to be a woman. What? I'm tired of the Sandy Hook ads in my state. What? They still do? They're using their children's death to chip away Second Amendment rights. Yeah. Hey, never let a false flag event go to waste. I wonder if a woman can impregnate another. I mean, technically, but they have to borrow some stuff from a man to do it. Repercussions to actions is sorely missing from society. Yeah, so that's why I'm okay with Jimmy Kimmel getting kicked to the curb. I'm okay with DC's Troon writer getting kicked to the curb. I'm okay with anybody who blamed MAGA. This was the stupidest thing. How obvious was it? It was so dumb to try to blame MAGA because the guy was white. That was their whole entire argument. He's a white guy and his family's Republican, therefore he's MAGA. Oh, he's a furry with a tranny boyfriend. Oh, he's been indoctrinated into Antifa thought for the past year. It's funny, huh? It only took like a year. It only took a year of lady penis to convert this guy from a Mormon conservative. I don't even know if he was conservative. I mean, like, just because you're a conservative doesn't mean your kids are conservative, especially if you didn't raise them right. And obviously, they didn't raise him right because he was doing that lady penis thing. So, yeah, I don't know where to go with that. But obviously, the guy's an Antifa tranny loving furry. Not on our team. Hello. There's something more nose. Oh no, it's just more nose. That white thing. Anyways, that's why insane people can just harass people on the street, and no one even cares if they just film it for TikTok. Yeah, I don't want to get into that whole thing again. Most people are cowards. Spirit. That's just the fact. Most people are just freaking cowards. Is that the father that's on the donation commercial still, balding with glasses? I have no idea, Grinder. I followed that Sandy Hook story from day one, and from beginning to end, it was ridiculously fake on every level. I did too, and I felt that too. Not every level. I wouldn't say every level, but I just remember it's been so long, and I didn't really kind of stick with it, but I just remember I remember the footage of like a second guy like with a gun running into the woods or something like that. I don't know. I just remember stuff that what I was seeing wasn't adding up with what was being reported. And then I don't know. I don't know what happened after. It's been so long. I haven't revisited it. Yet that's the guy. Maybe he has low empathy and took the spotlight opportunity. I mean, honestly, he would have to have low empathy to the level of being a sociopath. That's the right word, right? Sociopath? When you just don't have, I mean, low empathy is another way of putting, like super low, like no empathy. But they know that they, in order to be, now, why is I have a red spot right here. In order to like exist in society, they kind of have to pretend to have emotions. That's a sociopath, right? So they kind of they adopt behaviors rather than actually feeling emotions. I could believe that. If that guy was like clinically diagnosed being a sociopath, I could accept that. But if he's any normal human being, that behavior is No, that's just a no for behavior. I've seen that ad grinder. It's so weird. I saw one with mom too. They seemed so coolly detached. Oh yeah, Sandhook's Foundation runs on Roku's YouTube as well. I never saw it. Stochastic terrorism is a form of violence instigated by hostile public rhetoric directed at a group or an individual. Oh, words are violence. Words are violence. I mean, honestly, not even threats are violence. Threats of violence aren't even violence. They're threats of violence, and they're not covered by free speech. But no, sticks and stones can break my bones. But until you actually encourage someone to go out and murder someone else, they're just words. No, says my honest take. Kimmel's show lost them so much money, they just looked for an excuse to axe him. Possible. Very possible. Corpse Grinder says, like how we label others as violent animals to convince people they are lesser and deserving the outcome. You mean like rapists and murderers? Those are the people generally labeled as violent animals. People who act like, violent animals. Oh my gosh. Phone is buzzing. Admiral Marshare says, yep, that's a sociopath. According to monthly Nielsen figures, Jimmy Kimmel Live dropped to just 1.1 million total viewers in August, down 43% from January's 1.95 million. That's almost, what is that, a 45? I'll just round it. It's like a 50% drop off. His August household rating of 0.35 marked the weakest showing of the year. Probably a good time to get rid of him. Probably narcissistic too. Are sociopaths narcissistic? Can they even feel that narcissism? I don't even know. Creating new words and phrases to justify your actions. Never heard of that before. Jay says, we went from silence is violence to words are violence. Yes, apparently everything is violence. Everything must be violence so that we could control the narrative. No, says, by the way, Germany is really pissed about our state media journalist because they are lying about Charlie so much. Germany is? Are you in Germany? My niece is in Germany. I haven't talked to her in way too long. I need to contact her, but freaking Germany time sucks. Like how Germany and now Israel are doing to the people they don't get along with. Oh, they started with propaganda wars demonizing their opponents. Do you remember October 7th, Corpse Grinder? Do you remember what they did? Do you remember the videos? Do you remember watching those videos and seeing what they did? I mean, I'd like to see this all end as soon as possible, right? But do you remember? I remember a video of a guy taking a gardening hoe and trying to remove the head off of a living person with the garden hoe in the guy. I think it was in the guy's kitchen. I remember a family of the mother and the children just being filmed by these animals who had killed their father, and they were going to take the mother and children as hostages. I remember parading the corpse of a beautiful young lady who they had raped and murdered through the street, and everyone in the street was cheering, not just the terrorists who went. I remember a whole lot of video of people acting like animals, and Don't start something you can't finish, I guess. October 7th. Do you know they have been fighting for much longer? Who has been fighting? Geez, a gardening hoe. How morbid. I know. And the guy was alive at the time. It wasn't like they killed him and then they tried to behead him. He was freaking beheading him with a garden hoe. Not one Sandy Hook parent shed one tear in every interview I watched, yet they questioned total strangers in street interviews. Those people actually had tears. They weren't even family. The Palestinians could have had a state 6 times since 1948, but they don't want a state. They just want to wipe Israel and the Jews off the map. True. Girlfriend, you should really do a deep dive into the history of Islam. Yeah. I don't know if it's a toss-up, but before the population of planet Earth reached 1 billion people, Islam had already murdered 240 million. That is darn near 1/4 of the population of the Earth had been murdered by Islamist Muslim. We'll just call them terrorists because that's what the entire religion is. Yeah. Go ahead and complain about Palestine because Israel has dropped more ordnance than they've killed people. You know, when you spend how much does one of those bombs cost? Tens of thousands of dollars for one bomb. One bomb can kill a lot of people. You know that? You put a bomb in the right place, like you target a crowd. If you're trying to genocide a people, you find the crowds of people, and that's where you drop the bombs, right? It's really weird. The Israelis are really, really bad at managing their money, because nobody said that about a Jew ever, because they're spending so much money on bombs, and yet they've dropped more bombs than the number of people they've killed. It's a really, really bad use of bombs if you're trying to genocide a people. Don't you think that's a little funny? But they're not using the bombs to genocide the people. They're using the bombs to kill. Yeah, the Jews suck at genociding. The Zionists didn't take the land peacefully. Corruption, do you know why there was a wall? Do you know why there's a wall? Do you remember? Are you old enough? I don't know how old you are. Maybe you don't remember. Because they were walking into Israel and there was no wall. They would just walk into Israel with suicide vests and walk onto a bus with women and children and blow themselves up. They'd walk into pizza parlors or discos with suicide vests and blow up a bunch of innocent people. So eventually Israel said, okay, we're going to need to stop this. So they built a wall to stop the suicide bombers. And then, when they couldn't get through the wall with their suicide vests, that's when they started launching tens and tens and tens of thousands, probably over time, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of missiles over the wall to target, once again, civilians. And then October 7th happened, and you know who they targeted? They didn't target the military, did they? They targeted civilians. And then you know who they use as shields from where they're launching these missiles, their missile launchers? You know where they put the missile launchers? They put them in elementary schools, and they put them in hospitals, and they put them in places so that they could use civilians as human shields. This is not a morally equivalent war. The moral bad guys in this war are the ones who target and use civilians as human shields. Why were they angry? Was it because they slaughtered the people and stole their land? What? Oh, does being angry qualify you to be a terrorist? Are you excusing the terrorism because they were angry? Is that how one behaves? Is that how someone fights a war, is by targeting civilians? You are literally right now, and I want you to think about this, Corpse Grinder. You are literally right now excusing the targeting of women and children. You're practically endorsing the murder of women and children. No, I'm not. Corpse Grinder, I'm not. You know why I'm not? Because Israel, okay, I grant you there may be some bad actors, but the policy and the actions of official Israel is not targeting women and children. Women and children are being killed because Hamas uses them as human shields. Do you understand this? You can't take out... Can you just think of the math for a second here? If they're dropping bombs, that each bomb could technically kill hundreds of people, right? Each bomb could kill hundreds of people. They've dropped more bombs than people have died. Can you do the math on that? They're obviously not targeting civilians, for one thing. They're targeting infrastructure. They're targeting Hamas. They're targeting terrorists. The human shield argument is pathetic. The human shield, but it's true. They've done it. They've done it forever. Who is limiting the food supply? Is it Egypt? Is it their Muslim country next to them? You know, there's a wall. Egypt actually built a wall without a door, so they couldn't come in to Egypt. Egypt doesn't like the Palestinians either. The left loves some terrorists. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. A simple search of T attacks across the world show Islam responsible for well over 90%, and that's being generous, probably like 98%. Why the left love Islam so much? Yeah, ever since England and Ireland, since the IRA stopped, bombing people in England, Islam's kind of gotten a monopoly on terrorism. Yeah, it's not Israel, really. Israel's actually dropping food. It's fine for me. Human shield arguments. Oh my gosh, you can literally go watch curious videos of YouTubers walking through Gaza right now. It's fine. Also, I should have video. Did you see like walking tours of Gaza prior to all of this? It's crazy that people are like, it's an open prison. Gaza was beautiful. Parts of Gaza was like a cross between San Diego and Tijuana. There were sections of it that were like Tijuana. There were sections of it that were like the best kept parts of San Diego, like La Jolla. Gaza want no freaking open air prison. This is such garbage bullcrap. No, they have made more terrorists. Okay, dude. Hamas is limiting the food supply by stealing the food from the people. Yeah, it's funny. And guess what? The people voted into power. A terrorist organization. A known terrorist organization whose entire purpose was to wipe Israel off the map is who the people of Gaza voted into power. The majority of Gazans. And you know what? I feel really bad for the minority who didn't vote for that. I do. I feel bad for them. But anybody who voted Hamas into power, you're Hamas too. It's always impressive watching an atheist defend Islamic extremists. It's kind of weird, right? The left terrorist. Now it's the Palestinians and not just Muslims. I don't understand that. Israel is terrorist, says Larry. People that dismiss the human shield truth are usually just anti-Semitic. Oof. The Nutella Cafe. IRA mentioned. Erin Gobra, lads. Come out, ye black and tans. Paul Richards said, at Justin, Christians and Muslims worship the same God. The tribal war God Yahweh, only the Muzzies call him Allah, which is why he's not the same God, Paul. Oh, Paul, you're the one that couldn't make an argument last time, right? Paul's back, everyone. Hi, Paul. Welcome back. We do not worship the same God. That's right. They worship Allah. We worship Yahweh or Jesus, depending on how you want to phrase it. We do not worship the same God. Israel is literally shooting people who try to get food. You know, I'm going to say that reportage is probably a lie. I'm not going to say it's for sure a lie because, like I said, there are probably some bad apples. But it is not like Benny Netanyahu is going, hey, everybody, make sure you shoot anybody trying to get the food that we have delivered to them. Because we are trying not to kill everybody. But make sure you shoot them when they try to get food. I don't actually think that's an order from on high. You might have some bad actors. There's going to be bad actors in any war, any conflict. All of Hamas are bad actors. Every single person in Hamas is a bad actor. That's the difference. You see the difference there, right, Larry? Corpse, Hamas literally takes the aid and sells it to the people. That's a massive part of their funding. He's drinking the Kool-Aid. We do not worship the same God. That is correct. It's true. They're targeting Palestinian churches. You could probably say they were targeting Palestinian hospitals when they were actually launching missiles from the hospital parking lot, right? Because they might have to blow up a missile launcher in a hospital parking lot. So then you're like, oh my gosh, they targeted a hospital. Dude, that's what surprises me actually, is that there's actually 2% of the population in Gaza are actually Christians. There's no Jews there because they kicked all the Jews out. But there's actually Christians there. There's 2% of the population is Christians. Islamists and atheists have the same father. Oh, Christians and Muslims do not serve the same God. Allah is Satan. Correct. I still think he might be a bot. To be frank, I didn't time out Paul yesterday. LOL. That was Jeff. Brian Kilmeade. Let's discuss. Brian Kilmeade? What about Brian Kilmeade? I don't know anything. Is Brian Kilmeade in the news? Allah says it's okay to lie. Our God says it's a sin to lie. That's right. Weird, right? Yes, they are, Mike. They want all of Palestinians killed. No. Okay, let's do this math again. If they've dropped more bombs than they've killed people, they are really bad at killing people. Now, moved, yeah. And how do you feel about that? Do you feel like, oh, wow, these guys have for 80 years been terrorizing innocent civilians in Israel because they are unwilling to be good neighbors and just enjoy the fact that they live in San Diego on the Mediterranean. You know, that strip of land, Gaza, is like, it's San Diego, dude. It's like the best piece of property in the European Middle East area. It's got the best weather. It's the ideal vacation spot. And these guys, rather than enjoying it. They spend all their time and money trying to kill Jews. At some point, what is the breaking point, Larry? When they've done this decade after decade after decade, suicide bomber after suicide bomber, hundreds of thousands of missiles targeted at your civilian population, to the point where that literally Israel had to build, rather than constant just wiping out Gaza 20 years ago, they have built stinking bomb shelters all over every playground, every building, every public area. They've had to build bomb shelters because Gaza was launching missiles into their territory at civilians all the freaking time. What do you do with that? Say you're in charge of Israel. What do you do with that? They literally voted the terrorist organization whose entire purpose is to wipe Israel off the map into power. Majority of Gazans voted kill all the Jews into power. What do you do with that? Huh? What do you do with that? I don't even like the way Israel is handling this, but Hamas is way more evil. I don't know what the solution is. But you sure as hell can't let Hamas be there anymore. And that means you can't let anyone who voted Hamas in be there anymore. Paul says, doesn't alter they are the same God? Yes, it does. It quite literally does. Paul is definitely a bot. Brian Kilmeade said the thing about the homeless, and it was in bad taste. Oh, he did? That's terrible. Yeah, he should. He should. What did he say? I don't know exactly what he said. So Itzhak Goldberg says exactly. Michael C says Palestine doesn't exist. It's just a name on a map. Freaking Yasser Arafat was Satan, man. Although if IAF dropped the equivalent of two atomic bombs. Well, they have to get rid of all of the underground bases, all of the underground tunnels. They have to, honestly, at this point, they just got to scrape that clean. They just take bulldozers, because they've already flattened most of northern Gaza. I don't know how much of southern Gaza is left, but they should just flatten it and rebuild. And allow people there who are not supportive of mass terrorist organizations. How's that? How do you get your green card to get back into Gaza? You have to swear. Hold on, here's a problem. They're Muslims. So first thing you do is you let all the Christian Palestinians in. If you're a Christian Palestinian, you get the green light. You guys get to control. In fact, the Christian Palestinians should be the government. They should make it a Christian Palestinian theocracy. So they control the government. The Christian Palestinians, the 2% of Palestinians that are Christians get to control the government in Gaza. They get to police any of the people that get in there and they're like, hey, guys, you know what we should do? We should go kill some Jews. Those guys go to jail. They get kicked out. Helping a criminal is a crime. Yes. He should be sacked and even prosecuted. I need to hear what he said. That sounds crazy even for Kilmeade. And now Hamas senior officials admit that the strip's seen more births than deaths since 10/7. What? Oh, 50,000. Wow, that's a lot of births. If I say that I am at Paul Richards, does that make me you? According to Paul, it does. I disagree. Haifa's Carmel is superior to Gaza. I don't know what that is. Can I call the show? Not today. Friday. You can tomorrow. I only have 5 minutes left. Hey, here I am, Lord Send Me. What's up, buddy? God bless you too, man. Thanks for popping in. Yitzhak says, yet Hamas hasn't built a single bomb shelter, even though Qatar, Iran, and the EU sent them billions for about 2 decades. Right. They didn't take that money and feed their people. They took that money and they made bombs and they dug tunnels and they did terroristy things. Weird. People have been sacked for less. I'm fine with prosecution if the standard is used on both sides. It hasn't been yet. I'm gonna go look up what Kilmeade said after this show, because that is definitely not kosher. Before the October 7th ratio. Oh, the ratio. That was weird. The ratio of Palestinians killed compared to Jews was 12-1. Well, Jews are better at it. Palestinians are. Oh, you know why? Because the Jews built bomb shelters, and so it's like they saw missiles coming. Also, they have the Iron Dome. It wasn't for lack of trying, Larry. Are you just excusing the hundreds of thousands of missiles they launched? You realize that if the Gazans had just stopped trying to kill Jews, they probably wouldn't have been killed by the Jews. Right? You realize that, right? It's not like the Jews are sitting there goes, if only there is some way that we can just constantly kill Palestinians. They're not. You remember Nazi Germany? Remember the whole never again thing? This is part of the never again narrative. We're not going to be letting people murder us ever again. And is there a little overcorrection in the war? Honestly, I don't know. I'll let God decide. If they divide the country, God will step in. Yeah, it's great. That's in the Bible, actually. The underground tunnels were built in the 80s to smuggle food from Egypt. I somehow doubt that. Oh, well, and if that's the case, corpse grinder, what does that mean? Why would you have to smuggle food in if... Oh, yeah, because Egypt built a wall to keep the Palestinians out because they're a bunch of terrorists. Not all of them, obviously, but the majority that voted in Hamas were a bunch of terrorists. Suicide bombing was literally invented by Zionists in 2940s. Wow. Are you a prophet, Larry? Yeah, tomorrow's Collins. Jimmy Kimmel made fun of Trump's reaction, not Charlie Kirk's death. It wasn't about him making fun. It was about him blaming MAGA for killing Charlie. That was why he got fired. That was the legal problem. You can't do that. It's the same gun. Wow, Larry. Wow, Larry. Allah is basically Moloch. Allah is Satan, dude. Kimmel may have violated FCC rules. That's enough to fire him. But Piker and Destiny called for violence. They, as of yet, have not been prosecuted. They should be. Christian Israeli Arabs enjoy full equality in Israel. Also, yeah, the happiest. Here's the thing: the happiest Arabs in Palestine, in what used to be called Palestine, are the ones that live in Israel. Israel. You just advocated genocide, Mike. No. I advocate for ethnic cleansing. I think that they should remove everyone who is pro-Hamas terrorist should be cleansed from the land. And if that means moving them all to Egypt and letting Egypt deal with them. Actually, aren't they all Jordanian refugees? Why don't you just move them all back to Jordan? That's a funny thing. The Jordanian refugees. Well, doesn't that mean, isn't Jordan a Muslim Arab country? If Jordan is a Muslim Arab country, why then don't you just send them back to Jordan? I don't understand. Glad to have found someone who supports Israel. Of course I support Israel. That doesn't mean I have to support every single thing they do, but, and like I said, there are bad actors, but I absolutely support Israel. Words don't hurt you, people do. Hey, right. Do you think they will ethnically cleanse Gaza? Charlie Kirk talked about this, and they seem to be aware of some hidden agenda. Do I think they will? I don't know. I don't think you can just not let people back in. I like the idea of like rebuilding it someplace. I mean, it's so beautiful there. You just turn it into La Jolla and then let the people who don't want to kill the Jews back in. And that should just that's your dividing line. This is the dividing line between the cancel culture and you know, you can have people have free speech, but you can't let them libel, slander, and threaten violence. That's the dividing line, right? Well, there's a dividing line for people you should let live in Gaza. People who want to live in peace with Israel, people who want to murder all the Jews. All right, get rid of this half and keep this half. And give this half nice new apartments and hospitals and schools. And let them live in the paradise that Gaza should be. The half that want to kill all the Jews, maybe move them further away someplace. Is that ethnic cleansing or is that ideological cleansing? I don't care. It's like you can't continue to live with neighbors who want to kill you, whose stated agenda is to kill all the Jews. You cannot live next to people like that. If you think you can, I apologize, but you're a freaking idiot. Jews are your idol. I don't have idols. I meant that Haifa is more beautiful than Gaza. Oh, is it? Yitzhak Hamas used Palestine itself as a shelter. I know. All right. Sorry, guys. I gotta wrap this up. It's over an hour. So, why do you remove the locals for expansion of the colonists? You know who the locals were? Actually, you know, that's a whole different conversation. I'm not steeped well enough into, you're talking about West Bank stuff, not Gaza. I'm not well steeped into that. So, Mike, if Gazans don't want to accept Israeli citizenship or residency status, I'll be happy to make their lives in Jordan, Egypt, even Ireland. Thank you. Ireland? Nah. Ireland for the Irish. Oi. Although there's more Irish in America than there are in Ireland. Anyways, that's it for today. Thanks everybody for being here. God bless you all. We'll see you tomorrow on Friday. It's Friday's call-in. So call on in. Peace.